Okay guys, in today's video we're gonna talk about how you can set up Cookiebot and cookie consent on your website using Google Tag Manager. So first thing you gotta do is go over to cookiebot.com, set up your account, and this is probably gonna be the first page that you will see. First thing you gotta do is add your domain. This is the domain of your website that we're gonna set cookie consent for. So in this video I will use one of our projects, StopCard, and we will set up the cookie consent here. This is a WordPress site and we're using Google Tag Manager. As you can see here, nothing in the container yet except for a LinkedIn Insight tag. So first step, go and type your domain. So it's stopcard.co, and leave scan frequency at once a month. It's totally fine, even if you're on the paid plan. Okay, so add domain. And now here under implementation, go and look for your domain group ID. This is the group ID that we'll need in the Google Tag Manager. Go and copy this. Now head back to Google Tag Manager, and here under tags, go and click new. I assume that you've already installed Google Tag Manager on your website. If you haven't, make sure you do that first, and make sure that you have published your container. Otherwise, all changes that you make here won't be visible. So let's go and create a new tag, and let's say let's give it a name, Cookiebot CMP. And here under the template gallery, we need to find the Cookiebot template. It's pre-made by Cookiebot themselves, so the template is working nicely. So let's type again Cookiebot, and here it is. Now we need to add this template to our workspace and give the following permissions. We need just to click add, and here is where we paste our Cookiebot ID that we've copied from our Cookiebot dashboard. So next thing, to make sure we cover here, it's the language detection and the CDN region. So if you're primarily going to receive traffic from countries from the European Union, I suggest you use this .eu, as in my case. If your traffic is more globally distributed, it's probably okay to go with .com. I'll leave it at .eu as I'm located in the European Union, and most of my clients and visitors here are located in the European Union as well. So regarding the language, there are two options here. It basically allows you to decide whether the cookie banner is presented in one language or another. First thing I gotta mention is that if you want more than one languages, you gotta go here under configuration, and right now I'm not gonna talk about the layout and how the cookie banner appears. You can play with this in your own time. But here under content we have different languages. In my case, I want only English and Bulgarian, and the default language is going to be English, and the fallback language is going to be Bulgarian. So how does Cookiebot decide which language to use? I figured out that the easiest way to do the language detection is by GTM variable. And what I mean here, as you can see, this website has only two language versions. The English version is on the main domain, and the Bulgarian version has a another directory. So every time that a person lands on a link on a page that says /bg/ Cookiebot will present the cookie banner in Bulgarian. Otherwise, if it's just a simple .co, so no /bg, it's going to be presented in English. So how do we do that? We need to look for the URL and set up a variable inside the Google Tag Manager that's gonna capture whether I have, in my case, /bg or not. And if I have, it will present the cookie banner in Bulgarian. And if I don't have it, the cookie banner is going to be in English. So now we have to create the language variable. How do we do that? Just click here on the plus sign. And again, the plus sign, give this variable a name. This is a custom JavaScript or something like this. It's totally up to you. Just make sure it's something that speaks to you. So under variable configuration, we need to select custom JavaScript, and here we are gonna paste, just let me copy it, this very simple JavaScript. Basically, it says that the default language version is English, and the other languages that we have is Bulgarian. If we have more languages, you can add them here. But yeah, I will just leave it as it is, as my website has only two versions. So we click save, and our language variable is already in our Cookiebot tag. And the last thing we gotta do is create a trigger. So when does this trigger initiates, this tag triggers? It's when the consent initialization is fired. So we select consent initialization and all pages, and then click save. And now we're good to go. Good to give it a test and see whether this works. So under the preview mode here, we just type our domain, and now it will load the debug view, and we should be able to see our cookie consent. And yes, just let me remove this. So this is our cookie banner from Cookiebot. From here, I can decide which cookies I want to allow or disallow. And most importantly, here under consent, let me just see. We can see that the default state on all cookie types is denied except for security, which is always the case. So what do we do from here? Let's just First, let's try whether the language version works. And let's see if the cookie banner is presented in Bulgarian. It is, so this option is set up correctly. Let's switch back to English so that you can guys see what's going on. So from now on, let's say I want to enable only marketing cookies. Let's click allow selection and see what happens here. Under consent update, we should be able to see that we have the marketing cookies updated, and personalization functionality are still denied. Let's go back. Oops. Let's go back here, and what was that? Okay, let's change my consent. This is an old banner. Don't pay attention to it. So let's allow all. Click save, and here you can see that now all of my cookies are updated. So what do we do from here? Right now, the only tag that I have in my tag manager is the LinkedIn Insights tag. You can see that here the only tag that's fired is the LinkedIn Insight tag. Now I will create a Google Analytics tag inside my tag manager. So before we create our GA4 tag in tag manager, I want to mention something about consent mode. Google has two types of consent mode, the basic one and the advanced consent mode. And the difference between the two is that in basic consent mode, all tags are blocked from loading until the user interacts with the consent banner, and no data is sent to Google before the interaction. However, so that means that when I land here in basic mode, no tags will load until I say allow or disallow cookies. Let me show you. However, in advanced mode, Google tags will load regardless of user consent, and they will send cookieless pings that will not contain any identifiable information such as timestamps, user ID, cookie ID, etc. So this advanced consent mode allows you to still track user behavior, but with no identifiable data. Here in the Google support website, you can read more about consent modes, how they work, and ultimately it's up to you to decide whether you're going to use the basic or the advanced version of consent mode. So let's get back to Google Tag Manager and create our GA4 tag. So create new tag, give it a name, GA4. And here we select Google Analytics, Google tag, and the tag ID comes from our measurement. This is our measurement ID from Google Analytics. You can, let's just copy and paste it here. You can find it under admin, and then you go to data streams, and when you select your data stream, you'll be able to copy your measurement ID. So you copy paste your measurement ID here, leave the trigger at initialization, all pages, click save. One more thing, make sure that you go here under admin in Google Tag Manager, and under container settings, enable consent overview. And this will allow us to configure the consent behavior of our tags. And the way to do it, click here, this shield icon, and you can see that consent is not configured for our new tag. So let's open the tag again, and there is this menu, consent settings. For Google tags, there are built-in consent checks that are add storage, add personalization, add user data, and analytics storage. And for Google tags, we don't need additional consent. Again, based on the legal requirements of your country, this may not be exactly like this, and you may need to configure these settings in a different way. So I'm just presenting you here the technicalities and how you set up Cookiebot via Google Tag Manager, but it's up to you to make sure this is the legal way in your country. So for me, I will not require additional consent for this tag to fire, and I'll leave it with the built-in consent checks. So let's click save, and let's preview. So now I have the current state of all cookies are denied except for the necessary cookies, and you can see that here all cookies are denied. Everything is denied. So however, our Google Analytics 4 tag is still firing, and it's still firing because we use advanced consent mode and not the basic one. So how do we make sure we don't actually send identifiable information to Google when the user is not allowed cookies? The way to do that is, let's right click and go to inspect, and here under network, let's select, let's type here collect, and let's refresh the page. And you can see here that, just let me make this a bit bigger, like this. Here we don't see any cookie IDs, which is exactly the way it should be working. We can see only the Google Tag ID, and our measurement ID is somewhere here as well. Now let's change our consent status. and let's select allow all. And now here you will see that now we have our, once the cookies are enabled, we can see the Google tag fired again, but this time we'll be able to locate the cookie ID and user IDs, and I already see them here. So now we are sure that our tag, our Google Analytics tag, is firing the way that it is supposed under the advanced consent mode. And here down here I can see the client ID as well, and these are not present in the first collect event that happened when we did not allow the cookies. So finally, let's check whether the LinkedIn Insight tag is firing correctly. It's also triggered by the same trigger that we use in for GA4. And here we've also stated that this tag requires an additional consent, and it's ad storage, analytics storage, and personalization. You can select other as well. For example, let's oops, we have analytics already, and no, I think that's enough. Let's just click save and preview. And connect to our website in the debug view. So this is our banner again, asking us to specify our cookie preferences, and we can see that LinkedIn Insight tag has not fired because we've not given consent for cookie usage yet, but the GA4 is firing because it uses the advanced consent mode, and advanced consent mode applies only to Google tags. Now let's say let's allow all cookies, and then let's reload the page and see whether the LinkedIn tag will fire. And I can already see that it's firing, and yeah, alongside with it, the Google Analytics is also firing because it's the way it's supposed to work. So that's basically the way you set up Cookiebot using Google Tag Manager. It's very simple. You can add as much tags and let's say Google Analytics events or Google Ads conversions here. And for European countries in the European Union, advanced consent mode is mostly safe, but make sure you advise with your legal team. And also remember that consent mode, whether is it basic or advanced, applies only to Google tags. And for other tags like LinkedIn, like Meta, TikTok pixel or whatever it is, you will need to configure this manually here in Google Tag Manager. Google Tags have their built-in checks, and you can safely use no additional consent required, but for all tags that are not provided by Google, make sure you tick require additional consent for tag to fire, and fill up the types of consent that are needed for the current tag. So that's it. Hope it helps, and see you next time.